Cohen concludes her special series on Bakersfield's Basques, and if you haven't fixed dinner yet, you may want to wait and go out to dinner by the time this is over.
That is certainly true, Don and Gail. If you've ever eaten it, Basque food is a little bit of everything, but the Basque culture isn't like anything. The Basques come from a land sandwiched between the mountains of Spain and France, but their unique language doesn't sound like French or Spanish. And because Kern County is perfect land for shepherds, the Basques migrated here a century ago. And although times have changed, the Basques haven't. The Noriega Hotel is from another place and another time. 95 years ago, the clock stopped. That's when it opened. Back then, the Basques never realized this would become a kind of institution in East Bakersfield. This is much more than just a restaurant. It's where a new life began for hundreds of Bakersfield's Basques. It was a boarding house then, a first home to most Basque shepherds, like Tom Iribarren. He doesn't live here anymore, but 67 years later, he's still calling it home.
This is my house.
See, it feels like this.
This is my house. No matter where I go, no matter what they tell me, no matter how good they serve. But I never can forget the Noriega Hotel. No, never.
That's why Tom and hundreds like him keep coming back, to remember. Not much has changed, except the patrons, and they haven't changed much. What they do here today, their relatives did here in 1893.
I believe it was taken either in 1908 or 1909, because they were married.
Marianne Salabert was just a young girl when this picture was taken. Sundays, she says, was their day of recreation.
This was probably taken on a Sunday afternoon. The Basque people had Sundays, they'd go to Mass, and after Mass, they'd go to have lunch at the hotels, and then they'd spend the afternoon in the hotels. The women would go chatting, talking all the things. The kids, a lot of times, if there was movie houses around, they used to go to the movie house. There was several here in East Bakersfield. And the men would play moose, would play cards, or play handball.
There aren't too many things around that stay around. This isn't then, this is now. A typical Sunday in East Bakersfield, Basque style. The men play moose as if it were their last game. Moose is to Basques as poker is to Americans. And handball is like baseball. This is the official Basque game. Like the people, their language is one unto its own. There is nothing like it. So if you ever hear something around Bakersfield you don't quite understand, chances are they're speaking Basque. Janice Elizalde doesn't speak it, but she tries to understand it. She has to. She owns the Basque Institution in Bakersfield. She married a Basque.
I was scared because, you know, I didn't understand the language. I still don't.
One thing everybody understands is food. And if you live in Bakersfield, chances are Basque food is anything but foreign.
To cook like a stew and put the seasoning, and this is what the Basque people cook. Basque people like that kind of food. And I'm sure Americans enjoy it too.
There's not much to it. In fact, it's simple. The Basque use every part of anything they can grow. They sit at long tables, family style. Basques have big families. And most Basques are Catholic. Their faith is as strong as their families. These young Basques are either brother and sister or cousins. Proud of their past, they hope to preserve it so they don't lose it.
Our Uncle Andres was the first one to come over, and they were on their own, and they had to make their own life, and they had nobody to turn to except for their brothers. I think that made a strong bond, and I think that's what they want in their families.
They hold on to their heritage through things like music and dance. They even have their own place in Bakersfield to perform and practice and preserve. Appropriately enough, it's called the Kern County Basque Club. It boasts about 500 members. It's grown a lot. The club started 40 years ago with only 5 members.
And it's like a second happy home for these people.
The lost Basque culture has replanted its roots in Bakersfield, and although it may be a foreign word in most other places, it's alive and well in Kern County.
Maybe the Basque culture hasn't changed much, but times certainly have. Tom Baron remembers when he used to pay 50 cents for lunch at Noriega's. That was back in 1921. Now it's $7, still pretty cheap considering all the food you get.
Oh, wow, beans and salsa and bread and salad and tongue and spaghetti and red wine. And
I ate all of it. I really wanted to get involved in this story, so I ate my way through it. So in this case, reporter involvement cost me about 5 pounds, but hey, it was well worth it, and I'd like to thank all the Basque people who talked with me and fed me. Dinner time.